Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Saturday, June 24th, around 7:45 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. A train derailed and potentially released hazardous chemicals into the Yellowstone River earlier today. Keep calm. It's boom time. Severe weather possible from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic. A new round of severe weather is expected to develop in Iowa today and then head east to the Atlantic coast as we start the week. It's going to be stormy and damp in the Northeast and will be a severe weather risk for most of the week. Let's take a look at the severe thunderstorm risk for tonight. And this includes large hail, isolated tornadoes, damaging wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour. And you can see from Toledo to Chicago, Indianapolis to Columbus, all the way down to Evansville, you guys are in the crosshairs tonight. As well as the south, Little Rock, Nashville, and north, large hail, flooding downpours, damaging winds, and gusts to potentially 100 miles per hour. So heads up if you're in these regions. Now, Monday through Monday night, the threat moves east from New York City all the way down towards Charleston. Raleigh is in the big winter chicken dinner, and Washington, D.C. as well. Isolated tornadoes, hail, damaging wind gusts 60 to 70 miles per hour. And so heads up if you're in these regions. Now, the stormy pattern will continue Monday through Thursday for the entire East Coast, with it being rather cool and humid. Locally heavy rain, increased flood risk, and beneficial rain for some. So we need the precipitation. Severe storms possible in the Midwest and Mississippi Valley. Oppressive heat in Texas. Severe thunderstorms associated with wind damage, large hail, and perhaps a couple of tornadoes will be possible for parts of Iowa and Minnesota into the mid-Mississippi Valley through tonight. Elsewhere, dangerously hot weather will persist in Texas and the south-central U.S. Heavy rainfall may result in localized flooding from eastern Montana into the Dakotas. You can see flood watches there in green, as well as Minnesota. Say it ain't soda. So let's take a quick look at the tropical outlook. Brett is now, remnants of Brett headed towards Honduras, and Cindy is going to be curving up towards Bermuda in the next few days. Could actually be hitting Bermuda dead on, and then it's going to continue up and maybe even clip Canada. Take a look at the GFS model and watch Cindy as she shows up on the map there on the far right side right here, all moving up all the way to Halifax here, Friday, June 30th. So this is still 6 days out, but we'll keep a close eye on both tropical systems for your benefit. And if anything new tropical develops, stay tuned for more boom. Here's the smoke map. We've got heavy precipitation coming into Ottawa, well, actually Quebec and Ottawa, or Ontario and Quebec. Specifically, Quebec is where it's needed, where there's over 50 fires now and massive amounts of smoke. These should all be out by the end of the month, which is the good news on the forecast model. Let's just take a look at the total precipitated moisture, and what you're going to see here in the area of the fires I'm circling, it is going to rapidly get wet there, and that begins Tuesday morning. So Tuesday through Friday, most of those fires are out by the beginning of July. Good news for those that live in those regions that are being choked out. Brazilian cattle freeze to death. Sea ice is unusually close to Icelandic coast, and British Columbia's cherry farmers deploy helicopters. Plus, blizzards batter the Australian Alps. Come check out Electroverse, published by Cap Alon. The newest edition, coming out yesterday, is certainly a page-turner. Now, a train carrying potential contaminants derails into the Yellowstone River in Montana. The derailed cars were carrying hot asphalt and molten sulfur, of all things. The incident left multiple tankers in the Yellowstone River and decimated the railroad portion of the Yellowstone Twin River bridges in Stillwater County, Montana. Officials have not indicated whether the derailment caused the bridge to collapse or whether the collapse precipitated the derailment. I would think that the bridge collapsed and then the train derailed. What say you? Drinking water in Yellowstone County is not currently affected, but 2 of the rail cars were also carrying sodium hydrosulfate, a corrosive substance, but those substances did not enter the river, according to authorities. So, more train derailments in the news. Seismic update. No quakes of note. We have an interesting rumbler here, 2.6, in the Kentucky-Tennessee border in the U.S., but overall, seismicity is quite low. Worldwide volcano news update. Ibu, Ducono, Reventador, Mayon. Ibu puffing to 6,000, Ducono to 7,000, Mayon to 9,000, Reventador to 14,000, and we have Sangay to 20,000, Ubainas to 21,000, Sabancaya to 25,000, and Semeru increased in eruptive activity. You can see 12 eruptions recorded at Semeru, the largest of which occurred at 1:43 WIB and lasted for 14 minutes, with eruption columns reaching 1,000 meters above the crater's summit. Ubainas is back in the picture here with puffs to 21,000 feet, and Ibu continuing ash eruptions from the summit caldera. Space weather news update. We are at solar max probably for another year before we drop back down. And the sun is, well, not flaring that much. Pretty weak overall. The largest event in M4.9 was 2 or 3 days ago now. But we do have some geomagnetic activity pushing the KP up to 4.3, and that's lighting up the aurora. That's because the BZ component of the Interplanetary Magnetic Field, or the IMF, carried past Earth via the solar wind is currently pointing south. It switched direction rapidly, and active KP4 conditions are being observed at higher latitudes. Should the conditions persist, a minor G1 geomagnetic storm may ensue, and in just a few hours, there may be aurora up in Canada. So get out tonight and look up if you're up in those regions. Now, a decades-long bet on consciousness has ended, and it's philosopher 1, neuroscientist 0. Christoph Koch, a neuroscientist, wagered David Chalmers 25 years ago that researchers would learn how the brain achieves consciousness by now. But that hasn't happened, and the quest continues. Now, another quest. If you're looking for something to do on the 4th of July, why not come out to Crestone for the 4th of July celebration, where they have vending, a dance party all day, food, and, well, a soapbox derby, just like in the olden days. No power in these babies, all gravity. Come out and hang out with Leah and I on the 4th of July in Crestone, with a bunch of awesome, like-minded people. Hopefully we see you out there. And tonight, right after this show, we have an amazing 1-hour podcast over at Magnetic Reversal News on exothermic core theory of climate change. We're also going to go over all of the poles of Earth, including the rotational pole, the geomagnetic pole, and the magnetic pole, to bring you up to speed if you were not aware of the 3 poles and what they actually represent. It's going to be over on Magnetic Reversal News in just a few minutes. Earth's magnetic pole is wandering, and geologists don't know why, not even Diamond. Is there possibly a climate connection? Well, we dive into the theories in just a few minutes. Join us. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video, as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. Hit the thumbs up for the algorithm. We love you. Be safe. And that is a boom.